Ever feel like your work life is kind of like being stuck between a rock and a hard place?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I can see that.
Well, for a metal production manager, it's more like being stuck between a giant sheet of steel and a deadline that just won't quit. Welcome to their world where the pressure's cranked up, the stakes are even higher, and let me tell you, the work is anything but dull.
And what's wild is it's not just, knowing your way around a welding torch or remembering the difference between annealing and tempering. I was going through some of the stuff we've got for this deep dive, and there was this amazing story about a production manager who basically saved the day with, get this, his negotiation skills.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, so it sounds like there was this massive supplier issue. I think a shipment got totally messed up or something. And this manager, instead of freaking out, he managed to use his smooth-talking magic to wrangle those materials just in the nick of time.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's these hidden sides of a job that we love to uncover in these deep dives. You think it's all, I don't know, heavy machinery and molten metal, but then bam, you need a silver tongue to get things done. Love it.
Right. It's a total blend of those hardcore technical skills and those soft skills that don't get enough credit, leadership, quick thinking, all that good stuff. Because you're not just managing machines in this job, you're managing people, crazy situations, and those never-ending deadlines.
And speaking of crazy situations, the sources we've got definitely don't hold back on painting a picture of that work environment. One of them actually used the phrase controlled chaos. Sparks flying, deadlines breathing down your neck, the whole 9 yards. So for someone who actually thrives in that kind of high energy setting, what's the most surprising thing they might come across? What's something they wouldn't expect?
Hmm, that's a good one. It might actually be the amount of teamwork involved. Like when you think of manufacturing, you kind of think solo, right?
Yep.
Doing your own thing in your corner of the factory. But the reality for a metal production manager is totally different. They're constantly going back and forth with other departments, engineering, purchasing, quality control. It's all connected. And that's where those people skills, those soft skills we were talking about, become super crucial.
Makes you realize it's like a giant puzzle and they're managing all the pieces.
Exactly.
Now, when I think about climbing the ladder in this field, I always picture someone starting on the shop floor, maybe as a metal production assistant, getting their hands dirty, learning the ropes, and then slowly but surely moving up to a senior management position. Is that how it usually plays out, or are there other paths people take to get to that top spot?
Yeah, you're right about that shop floor start. A lot of metal production managers, they cut their teeth
Yeah.
getting that hands-on experience early on. There's really no better way to wrap your head around the whole production process.
It's like you got to earn those stripes, put in the time to really learn the ins and outs.
Totally. And that experience, especially starting from the ground up, it sticks with you, becomes super valuable as you climb the ladder. But it's not just about clocking in and out for years on end. Our sources really hammer home the whole professional development side of things, too.
Oh, yeah. Got to keep those skills sharp.
Absolutely. Certifications, things like a Six Sigma Green Belt, CPIM, those are becoming more and more important these days. It's like a signal to employers that you're serious about this field.
Let's break those down a bit for folks who might not be familiar. So Six Sigma Green Belt, that one sounds kind of interesting. What does that tell a potential employer about your skills as a metal production manager?
So Six Sigma is really about efficiency, streamlining everything. A Green Belt basically says, hey, I'm all about cutting waste, making sure things run smoothly, and keeping those defects way, way down.
Yeah.
And in this industry where every penny and every minute matters, that's gold.
Makes sense. And CPI, that's Certified in Production and Inventory Management, right? So we're talking about the brains behind the operation.
You got it. That one dives deep into the whole supply chain world. Inventory control, planning out production, the works. Someone with that CPM certification, they can walk into a room and know how to negotiate better prices on materials, spot a potential bottleneck in the process a mile away, and keep those inventory levels perfectly balanced.
So it's not just about keeping the gears turning, it's about orchestrating the entire symphony of materials, people, and deadlines, right?
Now, that is a perfect way to put it. And just like a conductor, a metal production manager has to be ready to adapt. Because no matter how much you plan, how organized you are, things happen. Especially in a manufacturing setting, curveballs are guaranteed.
Speaking of curveballs, our research keeps mentioning this thing called Industry 4.0. I gotta be honest, it sounds kind of intimidating, like robots taking over the factory and all that. What exactly is it, and how is all this fancy technology changing the game for metal production managers?
It's a game changer for sure. And yeah, it can seem a little sci-fi at first. We're talking robots working right alongside human technicians, sensors gathering data on everything imaginable in real time, even AI stepping in to optimize the whole process. It's wild.
Okay, hold on. Now that does sound incredibly cool. But I can also see how it might freak some people out a little. Like, if you're already in this line of work or even thinking about it, are robots about to steal your job? What's the real?
It's a question everyone's asking, not just in metal production, but across all sorts of fields, right? And the simple answer is no, robots aren't taking over completely. At least not yet.
Phew, that's a relief.
It's more about these robots becoming another tool in the toolbox, something skilled professionals like metal production managers can use to do their jobs even better, even more efficiently.
So instead of being replaced by a robot, you're going to be the one calling the shots, telling those robots what to do. Okay, I like the sound of that. But what does that actually look like day to day? What kind of skills do you need to make it in this brave new world of robot-powered metal fabrication? Fill us in. So instead of being replaced by a robot, you're going to be the one calling the shots, telling those robots what to do.
Exactly.
Okay, I like the sound of that. But what does that actually look like day to day? What kind of skills do you need to make it in this brave new world of robot-powered metal fabrication? Fill us in.
It's a really good question, and it gets at how this whole job is changing, you know? It used to be that if you knew your metals, you could run the machines, you were golden. That technical side, it was everything.
Right, like you can't exactly replace someone who can tell their stainless steel from their titanium just yet. Robots haven't gotten that good.
Exactly. But now, it's like you need that plus a whole other toolbox full of skills to really thrive in this Industry 4.0 world. Data analysis, that's a big one. Because think about it, you've got sensors everywhere, right? They're collecting tons of data on everything, how the machines are running, how much material you're using, you name it, mountains of data.
So a metal production manager needs to be able to make sense of all that, right? Like become a data scientist on top of everything else.
Pretty much. They need to see the patterns, the red flags, and use that data to make smarter decisions. Everything from planning out production schedules to figuring out how to use resources better. It's all data-driven now, not just gut feeling.
It's like having X-ray vision into your whole operation.
Exactly. And it's not just data either. Cybersecurity, that's another big one that keeps popping up in the research. More connected systems, more chances for something to go wrong, right?
Yeah.
So a metal production manager, they need to be thinking about that, making sure those systems are secure, making sure their team knows what's up.
Wow, so you're like a cybersecurity expert now too. This job is intense.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you, this isn't a field that stays still for long. Always changing, always needing you to learn something new, to adapt. But honestly, that's what makes it so cool.
Yeah.
You're never bored, that's for sure.
I can see that. So we've covered a ton of ground here, really dug deep into this whole metal production manager role. If we had to leave our listeners with just one thing to remember, one big takeaway, what would it be?
You know, for me, it all comes down to this. Never stop learning. The world of metal fabrication, it's changing so fast. And the people who will succeed, they're the ones who are curious, who want to keep learning, keep getting better. Whether it's new technology or new ways of working, embrace the challenge.
It's not what you know, it's what you're willing to learn.
Exactly. And honestly, that's good advice for any career these days, not just this one.
That's a great point to end on. It's been awesome exploring this world with you, getting to dive deep into what it really takes to be a metal production manager. To everyone listening, we hope this has given you a lot to think about, whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro. And hey, until next time, keep those gears turning.